absolument fanatical artist. Fuck nigga.
Numbers chapter 22 verse 32 says, "The messenger of Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh said to him, 'Why have you beaten your donkey's legs these 3 times? It is I who came out as a Satan, for the errand is reckless to me.'" Here the messenger of the deity making it known that he in fact was acting as a Satan to Balaam, because the move that he was making was a reckless one indeed. Now, let us take a look at the book of Zechariah, chapter 3, verse 1 through 4, where in this passage, it is about a vision that the late prophet Zechariah was given from the deity of a decision in the heavenly council that is made about Yeshua, the son of Yehuzadek. This interaction is like a conversation between a judge and a district attorney, better known as a prosecutor, during a trial that is taking place, somewhat.
Vayar eni ayet Yehoshua hohen ha gadvol omed lipni malach Yehovah vashatan omed aliminvo lashitinbo.
And it renders to, "I was further shown Yeshua, the high priest, standing before the messenger of Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh, and the Satan standing at his right to accuse him."
Vayo amer Yehovah ael hashatan
But Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh said to the Satan, "Yud-Heh-Wah rebukes you, O Satan, Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh, who has chosen Jerusalem, rebukes you, for this is a brand plucked from the fire." The Satan appears to be attempting to make a case about those people of Israel that returned from Babylonian exile under the king Cyrus of Persia, perhaps because they stopped the reconstruction of the temple, or maybe because they could not trace their lineage. But here is another good example of the Satan acting in his role, and here it is more clear of what that is. And the other passages along with this one show that he or it is definitely an occupation within the council of Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh. Now what about the sons of God that came down from heaven and intermingled with the daughters of men in the book of Genesis, chapter 6? There are so many claims from Christians that these are fallen angels, but does the Old Testament text say that? I have not seen anything within the confined space of the Old Testament leave mention to this event whatsoever. Although this may be odd to some of my viewers, but I do not see the deity ever making judgment against those sons of his that came down from heaven to marry human women either. But I let the text say what it says and leave it at that. Before we go, let us read the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verses 1 through 4.
ויאמר יהוה
לא ידבון רבהיבה אדם לא נמבשגם הווה בשל חייב ימייב 120 שנה.
Hambelem halbaaritis bayamim hahim bulgam aharikhan asher yabuah b'nei ha-Elohim el ben-vot ha-Adam ve'adv lahem hema ha-giborim asher me'olam anshei Hashem.
And it reads, "When mankind began to increase on earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw how pleasing the human women were and took wives from among those who delighted them. And Yud-Heh-Wah said, 'My spirit shall not govern in mankind forever, since it too is flesh. Let the days allowed them be 120 years. It was in the days when the giants were in the earth, and afterwards as well, that the sons of God entered unto the daughters of mankind, and they gave birth to the mighty men that are renowned from antiquity.'" Although we hear very often about the tale of the fallen angels that come from non-canonical texts that were produced much later after the compilation of the Old Testament, we do not see any mention of these fallen angels or sons of God within the confines of the Old Testament alone. Also, we do not have any reason to believe that these sons of God are actually the sons of Seth. After reading more than one verse of Old Testament text making mentions to these sons of God in the presence of the patron deity of the Old Testament. Also, we see the clear difference being made between them and human women, which can easily be seen in English and the biblical Hebrew text. But to close this down once and for all, we can also refer to the same group of divine beings from the unrevised version of Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 8 and 9 from the Dead Sea Scrolls that were found in the Qumran caves and are much older than the Masoretic text that most modern Bibles are translated from directly. Let us read the translation from the Masoretic version of the text, and then we will read the Hebrew and the render of the version found in the Qumran cave. And the translation from the Masoretic text reads, "When the Most High gave nations their homes and set the divisions of humanity, he fixed the boundaries of peoples in relation to Israel's numbers. For Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh's portion is this people, Jacob, God's own allotment.
Panhel Elivon Poem Hapridov Bnei Adam. Yatsiv Gevulot Amiyim Lemisbar Bnei Ael. Vayhi Helek Yu Amov Yaakov Hegel Nahalatov.
When the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he divided humankind, he set the bounds of the peoples, according to the number of the sons of God, and Yud-Heh-Wah-Heh's portion was his people, Jacob, the lot of his inheritance. When observing the unrevised nature of Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 8, we see a clear revision by later scribes of the Masoretic tradition, and it fits the text from the verses we examined earlier, therefore verifying the sons of God are in fact divine beings. If this passage does not indicate that, then what would be another logical reason for it being revised? Did I mention that there are Septuagint translations that exist and have very similar translations? It also removes the veil on the many times that this Bible has been rewritten and retranslated time after time again. If you have viewed my past videos about other purposely mistranslated biblical texts, you should be able to see the trends at this point in time. Have the ability to ask yourself if what you're reading is actually genuine. If these ancient Near East texts are the infallible word of God, then what gave man the authority to rewrite it time after time? What gave man the authority to put a veil over the true nature of the deity that you worship? If you want to know my opinion, I am led to think from a well-observed and logical perspective that these are simply the ideas of men, and only men. But anyway, thanks for stopping by for another installment of my Bible Uncovered series with the Afri-Culture Concepts YouTube channel. That's Afri-Culture Concepts 2 and Christian 0. Peace, guys.